Sweet, we should be live. All right, guys, basically in today's video, we're going to be going over how everyday people, celebrities, and even business owners benefit from social currency. So we're going to dive right into what social currency actually is, as well as how it benefits you and where it's going to be in the very near future and how, of course, you can profit. So today I'm here with the man, the legend, Big Court from the Holding Court podcast and Legacy Builders University. Let's take it away.
Hey, what's going on with you? Do know, of course, it's always a pleasure to be here with you and chop it up with you, man, and give our good people some good game and some good information. Um, the funny thing is, as it pertains to social currency, I like to think that I kind of coined that term, even though I'm sure that it was said way before me in some capacity, in some context. I like to think that I kind of at least brought it to the forefront.
Mm.
But yeah, great conversation, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll let you kick it off. You're always good at setting the stage of where you want to go with it.
Nah, for sure, for sure. So, for those of you that don't know, Legacy Builders University is really a platform that Court's built. And, I'm the COO, he's the CEO, and he's really just been leading the charge of getting the right team together to really give back to you guys, right? Like he's built a massive audience in the podcast world, and now he's working more on just sharing what he's learned and bringing experts to the table to really give back to you guys. So with today's topic, right, the first question that I'll throw out there for Court, and I'll give my insights as well, is what exactly is social currency?
Well, for me, we're in a whole new day and age. The funny thing about it, and I'll answer this question with an example and with my answer and with a story. Here about a week ago, I was talking to a good friend of mine who is an artist from the 90s, a very successful artist. He's got multi-platinum albums, very known artist, especially back then. But he hasn't quite been able to transition to the now, in terms of social media and just staying relevant as it pertains to social media. So I have been explaining to him, like, bro, you got to get active. You have to get, on social media. You have to get involved with the national conversation. You have to stand up and be accounted for. Now, this is a celebrity I'm talking to, uh, quote unquote. So he didn't get it. We have been talking for months. He didn't get it. And finally, about a week ago, something he must have saw piqued his
Mm.
interest and pricked his heart. And he was like, bro, he was like, you right. He said, man, I gotta be active. Like I gotta get out here. I gotta be seen. I gotta really get in the game. And the thing, and I told him, I said, social currency. I said, you are able to really grow your business, grow your brand. The more successful and the more visible your brand is, obviously, the more potential customers you're going to attract. Whatever that is that you sell, whether you sell entertainment, merch, a service, whatever it is, the more people that you get to, the more eyes you have on you, then obviously the more sales you hope to get. So, it's like if you have 1,000 people looking at you, for rough numbers, let's just say you get 10% of them to really rock with you and spend money with you and support what you're doing. That's 100 people opposed to 10 people looking at you and you get 10% of 10, which what is that one? You know what I mean? It's one person. So social currency is where we are right now. It's basically, I almost like to say it's everybody's avatar now. We've all willingly given up our anonymity. You know what I mean? The days of being anonymous. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain people that are anonymous and have businesses that may or may not, require social media. And these are usually your ultra wealthy people, but, if you're, from celebrity to the regular 9 to 5 person or entrepreneur, your social currency has to be there. And social currency meaning in my definition, by my definition, is the representation of who you are, your brand, your messaging, and this all being packaged up and put on display for the world to see, right? And the response of people to that brand, so the currency is motion. Currency is like money is fluid. So when we talk about currency, we talk about movement. So it's really the movement of your brand, of your content, and how people, consume that. So, you definitely have to be open for business. I tell people all the time. And, this kind of ties into the Holding Court podcast as well, because as people may know, if you know my story, I was late to social media. I did not understand social media. I didn't like social media. I was born in the 70s, raised in the 80s. Uh, my entertainment career started in the 90s. So
Mm.
back in my day, everything was kind of hand-to-hand combat. Like it was more personable, right? So when I saw social media, I'm like, what? Like, I don't get it. But as I paid attention and I learned, I said, wow, I need to have a voice. I have to have a voice. I have to be able to have people listen to what I'm saying. I need to stand up and be accounted for. I have an opinion, whether it's politics, whether it's life, whether it's entertainment, whatever it is, I got something to say too. So on top of that, of course, once you start building a business, like it or not, when you're on social media, and especially you kind of become a brand, even if you're a young woman working out in the gym and you're trying to lose weight and you're documenting your journey. In essence, you're sharing that information with other people that may be in that same lane. You become somewhat of a brand to them. So now, because you're sharing information, you're sharing insight. So for me, that's the importance of social currency. And once you get the ball rolling and once you have your messaging together, you have your presentation together, I guarantee you will definitely attract other opportunities because people love currency. People love motion. So I always equate currency with motion. You know what I mean? And people are attracted to light. They're attracted to things moving. So that's my definition of it. What's your definition, Duno?
Not, I definitely agree with, especially nowadays, right? And you asked my definition. I think social currency, we've evolved from having to, let's say, tell everybody in person, right? Like you used to have to advertise in person and walk up to people and go door to door. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to do that still,
Right.
right? Like if you're a new artist nowadays, if you're a new someone who's trying to be an artist, who's trying to be an actor, who's trying to be a painter, who's trying to be a car detailer, who's trying to be a lawnmower, right? Like you still advertise, right? You still go door to door and even CDs, albums, and all that stuff. You can still do that today, but social media has evolved, right? You've always had to have social currency, right? Like, let's say social
Yes.
currency is you're standing with your peers, you're standing with the people around you, right? How your neighborhood sees you, right? Like, let's say the personal brand back then used to be just the lawyer. Like, if you were the lawyer of the town, everybody
Mm.
knows you, right? Like everybody in the town knows you're the best lawyer in the town, or you're the
Yeah.
mayor of the town, right? That's your personal brand. Everybody in the town is following your lead because you're the lawyer, right? You're the mayor, or etc. Right? So, in my opinion, the definition of social currency is really you're standing with your peers. Now, if we bring social media into play, it's you're standing amongst the world now, right? Like you used to only worry about your local town or your
Right.
local city.
Right.
Now everybody's trying to get in front of 16 million people when, it's like you're trying to get approval too, right? Like a lot of people they fall
Yeah.
into that approval trap of trying to be approved
Hmm.
by 16 million people who they're
Right.
probably never going to meet, right? Like they're
Exactly.
they're concerned with the likes, they're concerned with the follows, when in reality, you know, we call it social currency because that's money that can be made
Yes.
from that attention. But very
Mhm.
few people, even recently, there was a study around like 50%, or it was a pretty 75%, 45%. It was one of those numbers of creators nowadays are making less than $15,000 a year. Right now, that's not bad, right? Like if you have a 9 to 5 job and you're also making an extra $15,000 a year, it's pretty good. But then you also have the people who are full-time creators and they're just making $15,000 a year, right? So imagine if you are a business owner, right? And you are someone who's trying to become an artist, or you're someone who's trying to become even a pro athlete, literally any field that you are in, and you're pushing your social currency, right? Like you're showing what you can do, you're showing your talent, you're showcasing your abilities. And for a business owner, which is, we spend a lot of time working with creators and business owners. So for the business owners, you're spending time talking about your product, showcasing your services, showcasing your abilities, showcasing why you're different, right? Especially nowadays, it seems like everybody owns a clothing brand, right? Like, and everybody owns some type of brand. And you're wondering, well, are they actually successful? Are they actually pulling in numbers? Are they actually making money? Well, the truth of the matter is that what is the story behind you? What is the story behind your brand? What is the story behind your business? Why are you in business? Is it just for money? Great. Are you trying to make an excellent product? Great. Are you trying to have, be the best car detailer in the tri-state area or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
You can really go in any direction, but it always comes back to authenticity, right?
Mhm.
So I kind of want to throw this question towards you. So, how do you feel about the level of authenticity there is out there nowadays, right? Because trust has been dying, right? In
Mhm.
social media, like everybody's trying to sell you something, everybody's trying to say their product is the best, my pizza is the best in the world,
Yep.
or join my course, join my coaching program. Everyone is trying to get you into something, right? So the level of trust has gone down because a lot of people aren't delivering on their promises. They aren't delivering on what they say they're going to do. So why do you think that is? And how do you think we can shift the direction of that?
That's a great question, Duno. And I just want to piggyback real quick before I get into that, just kind of a point that I wanted to make with the first question also. People can't get tripped up with what I like to call vanity metrics. You know what I mean? Likes are cool, views are cool and all of that, but you have to know the difference between followers and actual supporters. So what's important is that you really get people to rock with you. You can have 1 million followers and only 50 of them actually rock with you because your messaging is only connecting with them. You can be popular, but that doesn't necessarily means people will support you. So that's where it's a little science to that part of it, because anybody can do anything. You can go viral and do some dumb stuff and get a bunch of numbers, but that doesn't necessarily mean people are going to spend money with you or support you like that. So I wanted to make that point because that goes back to that kind of segues into the quality of what you're doing. I think you have a lot of people that, we are in the day and age of the cheap dopamine and the easy route, so some people have notoriety already. Some people will think because they stand next to notable people that somehow, it will trick people into thinking that it's official. You know what I mean? So you have a lot of that too. I think that, it comes back to integrity, but those people and those brands that do that type of stuff, you got to understand they're one trick ponies. Because the one thing about social media is social media makes the world smaller and
Mm,
everybody has a voice. So when you have to know, you have to be careful, because when you create something that's shoddy and something that's not what you say it is, people talk. It's the power of the comments. It's the power of communication. Everybody's connected. You know what I mean? So you will, in essence, fall. You will fall because it's like I like to say, right? The analogy that I use before social media. Think about a magician, right? Before social media, a magician could do a magic trick, right?
mm,
But the audience was just in front of them. So they could hide the rabbit behind the hat. They could do sleight of hand. They could do all these old tricks that are 100 years old, right? But now with social media, your audience is now 360. So there are people in front of you, side of you, and behind you. So the way that you did those tricks that were done 100 years ago with the audience just on that fourth wall, you can't do that now. So all it takes is for one person to say, "Oh, it's in his pocket," "Oh, it's hidden in behind his back." You know what I mean? So all it takes is one person to expose, and now people are looking. They're looking for the flaw. And so you're going to be exposed. So that's why it's important just to, like what we did with Legacy Builders University. We took our time, we created stuff, and we created content, and we created courses, and we created stuff from experience, from lived experience, not hearsay, not I think I'm right, I'm guessing I'm right, but from experience. Collectively, the people that we have on the team, you probably talking about, 30 years of experience collectively, from all different walks of social media and entertainment. So, you have to have some integrity. And I want to see people win. I really want to see people win. It's no fun having all the money, right? It's no fun when you have success and you're the only one with success and money and nobody else around you can do what you do or live how you live or whatever. So, I think that's what's going to separate the real from the fake are the results. You know what I mean? No one trick pony. A lot of these guys, one trick pony. They get you in there, they sell you some BS. You don't get any results. People leave, your name and your reputation in the gutter, in the trash.
Now, I agree. And a big part of it too, you'll see they'll come out and they'll only last about a year, right? Or their service, they're constantly changing. Like, okay, well, let's hop to this trend. Oh, hey, AI came out. Let's focus on teaching everybody about AI, which is cool, right? You'll make some money, but you don't make any long-term money, right? Like a lot of people, they prefer like, let me just let's get a quick injection of cash, right? So now they got some money, but now they got to constantly, okay, we need a new message, we need a new product, we need this and that, which is fine, right? That's the name of the game. But when you're really focused on like, okay, let's build something that people are going to love, people are going to want to share it with their families, they're going to want to share it with their kids, they're going to want to like, hey, guys, this right here is helping me. Come on,
Yes.
right? But nowadays, you're starting to see so many different products. Everybody's trying to hop on a trend. So because they're
Right.
hopping on a trend, well, guess what? Trends don't last, right? A trend
Right.
will go up and down, and maybe it'll come back in 20 years. Maybe it will never come back, right? So I wanna bring this question too. So with the experience that we have inside of Legacy Builders University, right? And of course with our networks, right? Like I'm coming from I'm in my early 20s, right? So my connections are going to, I'm not going to say, age is a thing, right? Like, because I've met people that I never thought I would meet at my age, but I have. And because of that, it's allowing me to, my mind is just like, whoa, okay, well, I can bring other people that can add more value into the community that, let's say I didn't expect I could bring, right? Or you didn't expect I could bring. So a question, and we'll tie this back into social currency as well. How do you think it differs from your generation to my generation when it comes to creating content on social media, the types of content that we create, as well as let's say, the purpose behind the content, right? Because let's say a lot of my generation, they're trying to just make money, right? Like they're like, yo, what can I do that's going to make me cash right now, quick turnaround, whatever, right? Like a lot of us, it's speed. We just want the speed. Whereas
Yeah.
your generation is like, okay, well, I've established my life for the most part.
Yeah.
Is this a new avenue? Is this something else I could do? Is this worth it? Right. So I want to kind of understand your perspective and how you kind of look at that.
Yeah. Me coming from the hip hop space and, hip hop being one of the only genres that you can quote unquote age out of, right? Which is the dumbest thing because when you think about rock and roll and blues, jazz, all these other genres, I think the Rolling Stones are still touring sold out arenas. And I think Mick Jagger might be 132 years old. So, with that being said, one thing that I've learned in life, and this is why I always say you live life long enough, it teach you how to live. The older generation, or say my generation or whatever, when we listen to the younger generation, it keeps us fast. It keeps us sharp amongst our peers and vice versa. When the younger generation is able to listen to us, it keeps them sharper amongst their peers. So it has to be an exchange of experience and respect and reciprocation. So as it pertains to my generation, Yeah, I think that in making content, what I've learned too is because my content is going to appeal to a certain demographic. My content probably won't appeal to a 16-year-old, right? Because their disposition is different, their outlook is different, their whole thing is different, and that's okay, right? Just like a 16-year-old's content probably won't appeal to me, right? So I think you be true to yourself. I think you be true to, because as you said in at the beginning of the conversation, authenticity. I think that because like I'll see content with dancing on TikTok, and I'll see it's a lady, I can't remember her name, but she dances with her daughters. Now her daughters are your age, but she's my age. And so a lot of her dancing routines are from the 90s. And so
Mm,
her daughters, they join in to learn the dances. And I mean, they sharp too. But it's something that resonates with everybody, because it's fun, it's relatable, even if the music and the dance steps are 90s, but you have the youth pulling that in. So I think that you do what's true and what's authentic to you. And I think when you start getting into, trying to appeal to people and it becomes contrived, I think that's where you start overthinking things, and it's probably won't connect because an older person is going to look silly trying to dress and act, and relate to a younger person. It's not going to connect, right? The same way an older person, a 16, 17-year-old trying to act like they've been on the earth 50 years, is probably not going to connect because their peers are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no, we lit, we turn up. We don't do that. My mom and daddy do that. Like, so I think just being authentic and my generation, just being open to new information and being open to, it's not just for the kids. Trust me, TikTok is not just for the kids. We're all on TikTok. We're all on Instagram. I follow so many pages that talk about the 80s and stuff, the 90s, stuff that we grew up on. Man, they got millions of followers. So we're out here. We out here. We represent, what I mean? Generation X, baby boomers. Listen, it's something for everybody. So I think when you're true to yourself, and you create what it appeals to you, and if you like it, trust me, there's millions of people just like you that think like you, that feel like you, that will, that what how it makes you feel will make them feel too. So I think that comes back to authenticity.
100%, especially just on the creation part, right? Because let's say someone is trying to create content so they can make money, and someone
Mhm.
is creating content because they want more exposure, they want a bigger brand, they want, let's say, a larger household name or something along those lines, right? They'll make more money long term, right? Whereas someone who's like, yo, I need money right now, right?
Right.
So what kind of content can I create? It's two different outlooks because let's say your generation wants to make money or makes wants to make content, make money as well as grow their name and brand and status. Well,
Mhm.
they're gonna look at okay, how can I go from here to here by the end of the year, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, right? Whereas let's say someone who's my generation, they're like, okay, not, I need something in 90 days. I need something
Yeah.
in like the next 30 days. I need this to
Yeah.
pop. I need like what can go viral, right?
Mhm.
Whereas let's say you're creating that content for you, you have stories, right? Like
Mhm.
you like you say, you live life long enough, you're gonna, life will teach you how to live. You
Mhm.
have so much experiences, stories, even
Mhm.
traveling, anything like that that you
Yeah.
can just start
Mhm.
talking about. Whereas let's say someone in my generation where, we're just, let's say we're just starting to taste what life has to offer.
Yep.
We're starting to
Mhm.
learn, let's say someone who grew up easy. Well, now they're starting to learn some hardships, right? Like I'm not saying anybody has an easy life, but
Right.
we definitely know some people grow up different than others. So
Right.
they're not going to have that many stories that might resonate with a large audience or a large demographic.
Mhm.
Whereas someone who's of your generation, they can just, okay, I can talk about this, I can talk about this, I can talk about this,
Mhm.
and you can have a long list and be like, all right, perfect. And then
Mhm.
let's say you had a team, you're like, okay, what will resonate with these people the most? And we say this, and this. So now, let's say in 2, 3, 6 months of just dropping content on one topic,
Yes. Yes.
your audience might massively grow, right? So I want to
But real quick, let me
yep,
just
go ahead.
add something to that. What I tell people all the time is, creating content is just like becoming a a professional athlete. When you look at Steph Curry, right? For him to be that good and be able to make those shots that he made, he had to get in the gym every day and put up 1,000 shots, right? So he couldn't just get in the gym and just throw up one or two shots and just say, "Oh, I'll be back next week." It won't happen like that. So it's the same thing with content. Same thing, you got to get your reps in. You got to, I always say, there are people that made it to the Hall of Fame off base hits, not just home runs. Everything is not going to be a home run. The thing about being viral, you just keep swinging. You keep throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Now, when you start seeing a pattern of what sticks, then you know what kind of to lean into. So you got to pay attention to your data and pay attention to what's going on. So if you know that, okay, I swung 20 times, I put up 20 pieces of content and one went viral. Okay, let me keep an eye on that. Okay, I put up another 20 pieces of content, two went viral. Well, what I'm noticing are those three pieces of content are kind of the same. So now you're kind of paying attention, say, well, man, maybe I need to do more of that and lean into that. That's how you at some point get to the mastery level to where, now your home runs are coming. They're still not going to be guaranteed home runs, but they get closer in succession. You start locking in more. So now instead of going 20 times to get one viral, it might be 10 swings and you get two viral, so get your reps in. You have to get your reps in.
Not 100%. And especially nowadays, right? Like you'll start to notice repetitive content, right? You'll
Mhm.
start to notice AI generated content. You'll start
Mhm.
to notice all types of content. And well, we like what we like. And these algorithms are starting to just give you what you want to see, right? What it
Yep.
sees that you like, what it sees that you comment on, what it sees that you share with your friends, share with your
Yep.
family. The algorithms pay attention to that. So for someone who knows who they're creating content for, it benefits you because you can speak directly to that person, directly
Mhm.
to that customer base, right? And this is really where business owners benefit the most is you know who you service, right? If you're a
Mhm.
lawyer and you work with let's say someone who's in the tax bracket of X, Y, and Z, or you only work with, let's say, divorced people, or you only work with whatever type of lawyer, because there's a long list of the types of lawyers,
Right.
a
Right.
financial lawyer, right? You
Right.
can speak directly to people who are having financial problems and need a lawyer for that, right? Or a business
Yep.
who needs a lawyer for their taxes, right?
Mhm.
Or a business who needs, let's say, a tax consultant, right?
Mhm.
So there's so many different avenues that you can go that allows your business to grow, right?
Yep.
And this is something we speak strongly on inside of Legacy Builders University is who do you speak to? Who do you work with? And how do you craft your content? And your content is really your marketing, right? So how do you craft your marketing to speak directly to these people? And something I heard recently is we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught, right? So people aren't always looking for brand new information. The reason you follow the same pages is because they remind you every few months or every few weeks about something, right? Whether it's the types of habits that you're building, right? If you follow motivational pages or motivational content, you're not following it because you want a new lesson every single time. You're following it because guess what? It just reminded you that you need to have good habits. You need to have
Right.
good eating habits. Let's say you follow a business page. They remind you that you need to have a strong message. They remind you that you need to really speak to your demographic and make sure that you are creating content for them, right? So a lot of this stuff that we're speaking about when it comes to social currency, it can be monetized, right? That social currency that you build over time, that the audience that you choose to build, the marketing that you do for your business, you can monetize on day one, you can monetize on day 30, you can monetize on day 90, you can monetize on day 365, right? It's just what does your business need? What does your brand need? What do you need right now? Right? Because some of you, you probably need, yo, I want to flip my life situation right now. Okay, you want to flip your situation right now, but how much longer can you endure? Can you endure creating content on X, Y, and Z topic for 30 days? I could probably do that. Okay, well, can you do it for 90 days? Yeah, I could probably do. If you could do it for 90 days and you spend the time up front figuring out who exactly you want to target, well, guess what? Now you're going to start to build that social currency and you're really going to start to, I don't want to say you'll just change your situation like that, but if you know how to build the right offer, how to speak to the right people, how to
Right.
grow the right type of audience, you can monetize that audience. So I want to throw it back to you. Let's say someone in the past, right? Like before social media, it would take a lot of work up front in order to just sell a new product, right? You have to
Yep.
go door to door. You'd have to build the product before you can even showcase it.
Hard cost. There's hard cost involved. Yeah.
Exactly. Nowadays, a business, you can validate the business without building the product, right?
Yeah.
Just from social media. So
Yep.
when it comes to, let's say, that side of things, what what is your, I don't want to just say opinion, but
Mhm.
let's say someone who's currently watching this video and they've made it this far, obviously thank you for making it this far into the interview,
Oh
but
yeah.
let's say that person is like, man, like I really want to make sure I craft the right message and I want to make sure that I actually make money off of this stuff, right? Like, how do you make money with social media? I want to do it too, right? So I want to throw it to you.
Man, to give up the sauce, right? We're gonna give up a little bit of the game. Listen, man. I know people, I know a lot of people in the entertainment space, and I know, a handful of influencers that make a lot of money, you know. I think it's just finding your niche and like anything else, being willing to put the time in, you have to have a level of passion for it too, you know what I mean? But let me give up a little bit of sauce. If you, what I've learned in my experience, the name of the game is consistency. I cannot tell you how important consistency is because not only are you battling being seen, everybody is battling for your click, they're battling for you to watch their content. You are fighting against an algorithm, you're fighting against technology too. So, as me and Duno discussed, you have to train your algorithm. You have to, there's different contributing factors into being seen and these little nuances that are not advertised. Instagram, these platforms don't come with a handbook of, okay, do this, don't do this, don't do that. When you do this, this is what's going to happen. No, all of this comes with experience and getting your reps in or aligning yourself with people like us who have already traveled that road, who can cut down and minimize that wasting time bumping your head figuring out. Because I'll be honest with you, you can be 6 months with these platforms doing the same thing wrong and not even knowing that you're wrong and you're trying to figure it out. Process of elimination, and you've been doing it wrong for 6 months just to one day say, well, let me try this. And then it may or may not work. But by then, the algorithm has updated, things have changed, and now you're 2 steps behind, So it's important to know that these algorithms, how you get paid, for instance, in Snapchat. I've talked to so many people that didn't know or didn't realize that Snapchat paid, right? Now, Snapchat is relatively tricky to get monetized on, but once you do, man, listen, Snapchat pays a higher CPM, which means that you don't even have to get millions upon millions of views to make decent money. You just have to be consistent, put the time in, right? Same thing with Facebook. Facebook pays a higher CPM than YouTube, So again, and you can repurpose this content. So you can create one piece of content that's good or several pieces. And the name of the game is monetizing those same pieces of content as many places as possible. That's the name of the game. You know, how many places can I get paid? Now, that's just talking the platforms. That's not even talking. Think about this. We in a world now where you can create content to not only promote you, promote your business and what you're selling, but also get paid off the promoting of the promotion. Like, think about that. You might make a dope piece of content that resonates, that is getting your business out there, getting your brand and your social currency up. So people are clicking, and then whatever you're trying to sell, they're buying. But also, that piece of content, that commercial is paying you too. You know, this is the gold rush, people. This is what's going on right now. But it's having access to the information and knowing how to, that knowledge that you get and learning how to apply it. So again, you put the content in different places, as many places as you can monetize your content as possible. And that's just one place. That's just off the platforms. So that's a little bit of a cheat code, a little bit of the game, and it all collectively adds up. So you're getting deposits from, I get deposits from, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get deposits from 5 different platforms every month. That's 5. So that's not counting, you know, if I'm selling merch. That's not counting because I'm on the podcast side. So that's not counting, you know, reads that I get from companies and sponsorships. That's not counting that. That's not counting people that want to pay me to wear their merch on my show or product placement. That's not counting that. That's just the content performing on its own. So I'm saying, you know, get in the game. Y'all got to get in the game.
Yep. And what people are also not realizing is there's a lot of money out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a mindset thing, right? You might be like, oh man, it's not possible for me. I don't have a good setup. I don't have a good camera. I don't have this and that. Trust me, you don't need it, because just like we are competing, just like, let's say this business is competing with this business,
Mhm.
these platforms are competing with each other as well. Because
Yep.
they're competing with each other, they
Yep.
are looking for more creators. Okay, well, let's say they have a lot of creators. Well, now they're looking for better content, right? Let's say they have a lot of good content. Well, now they're looking for more higher quality content that can
Yep.
retain people on the
Yep.
platform, right?
That's a
So
fact.
their metrics change. And because their metrics change, and because they're all trying to compete, even TikTok just partnered with Amazon. Can
Mhm.
you imagine the amount of money that's about to be made these next couple of years just with TikTok and Amazon
Right.
partnering together? That's
Right.
a that's a big step that I
It's
can't
dangerous.
even like explain to you guys, right? So imagine, for those of you that sell products, for those of you that sell physical products, homemade products, right? These platforms give you a way of marketing, and inside of Legacy Builders University, we teach you guys all the different types of ways you can monetize your content. We help you guys build the types of product that make the most sense for who you are, right? We're not just going to tell you, oh, go and do this, go and do that. No, we understand, okay, this is the type of person that you are. This is what you already do. We have a lot of small business owners that, we're helping them craft the right message for their business. Even, I won't name her name, but she owns a waxing salon, right? And when she first joined Legacy Builders University, well, she was focused on her weight, right? She was going to the gym and
Yep.
she started to lose weight. And then the next thing was she wanted to evolve her business. We didn't know she had a business until we started questioning her. And she was like, yeah, I've been in business for 3 years, right? And just in the last, she's been with us for maybe 5, almost 6 months now, right? We've revamped her brand. We've revamped
Yep.
her image. We've changed her, like, the look and feel of everything that she does,
Yep.
right? And guess what? She just launched something like 2, 3 days ago, a new piece of marketing, and she's already
Mhm.
got 3 clients from it, right? So this isn't something that we don't know. We know what we're doing, because as
Exactly.
a collective, we not only we work together, but we do what it takes to get results for ourselves and
Yep.
for our clients and for the members of the community and for those that really want to win, right? It's not just about, oh, can you help me make money? We help you win, right? The goal is to help you win in the best way possible that suits you, right? So I want to throw this question to you as well, Court, and we'll switch. I don't want to say we'll switch the topic, but we'll give the people a little bit of entertainment, right?
Okay.
So when it comes to celebrities nowadays, and let's say the culture and how social currency played a role in changing how celebrities grow and really just
Mhm.
maintain their brand, right? How has social media impacted that? Because I don't want to say just remember, but imagine, right? Michael Jackson grew to his fame without social media, all right? Like
Yeah.
he was selling out stadiums like crazy, right? Like I think one of his biggest concerts was like I think in China or Japan, and it was just like over 500,000 people or something like that, right? Some crazy number. And I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, but I'm not gonna say like I'm a super fan. I don't know everything, right?
Mhm.
But he grew a massive, massive personal brand
Mhm.
without the use of social media.
Mhm.
Nowadays, it's easier, but why is it that he was able to do it without social media and very few people can do it today with social media?
Well, and you know what? I may somewhat agree and disagree with you, right? So I'm old enough to remember that, right? So I'm born in the mid 70s. I remember when Michael Jackson debuted the moonwalk on Motown 25 in 1983. I was a kid. I was 7 watching it with my mom, and that blew all of us away. That made us all literally the whole world loved Michael Jackson before then, but it was different after that night, Motown 25, right? Now, being that I am old enough to remember what a real celebrity was. So back in the day, pre-social media, before the social media influencer age, a person that was a celebrity had a skill set. It was something about them that was special that everybody couldn't do. And even if they could do it, they couldn't do the necessary steps or stay with it enough to put in the work to get to that level, right? Because just like basketball, there was 2 Michael Jordans in my neighborhood, right? They were just as good as Michael Jordan, but they made different decisions, and their focus wasn't there. So they didn't go through the same steps that Mike took for his talent to be nurtured and to be on the world stage like that. So back in the day, celebrity was different. Nowadays, the term of celebrity is different now. Hold on.
Mhm.
Is that you, Court? Oh, okay. So nowadays, the term of celebrity is different. In my opinion, it's easier to attain this quote unquote celebrity status. I have people that consider me a celebrity. I say probably 6 out of 10 times because of social media. When I go places, no matter where I'm at in the country, especially here in LA, I say 5 to 6 times out of 10, somebody will recognize me. They'll either specifically recognize me from my show and from social media, or they know my face. They're like, I've seen your face. So the concept of celebrity has somewhat been watered down. Now, there's a caveat to that. There's a good side, right? There's a good side to that. Is the fact that because it's easier to become a social media or become a celebrity through via social media, now anybody can do it who's willing to put in the work. So the field is level now. You know what I'm saying? The playing field is level now. So it's a gift and a curse depending on how you look at it. For instance, I grew up watching Arsenio Hall. I grew up watching Larry King, Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters. I love talk shows. I loved these 60 minutes, these investigative reports, right? Back then, you had to, you had to like come from some type of journalism background. You had to be in Hollywood or New York. You had to know somebody. You had to get that job. You had to go through so much red tape to be a journalist or to be able to interview someone. Well, guess what? Fast forward 30, 40 years later, because of social media, anybody who's willing to put in the work, get a camera, learn the technology, and sharpen their skills can now be a Larry King, a Arsenio Hall, a Oprah Winfrey, if you're willing to put in the work. So the playing field has been leveled, so, in this day and age, when you have someone like Amber Rose, who is able to somehow, and no disrespect to Amber Rose, I don't even know what she does. I don't even know what she did, but she has a level of popularity to where, you have the Trump campaign has brought her on to speak, I think to speak to the urban culture or whatever, right? But they felt like she had the social currency to shift something. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, I don't know her to be a singer. I don't know her to be a dancer. I don't know her to do anything. I do know she was. I think she dated Kanye West, and I think she dated Wiz Khalifa. Nevertheless, she got social currency. And you see, I remember here in LA, probably about 7, 8 years ago, they were doing some work on the 405. They called it, what did they call it? It was a word play on Armageddon. I can't remember, but the 405 is one of the main highways out here, but it was going to be shut down.
Mhm.
They paid Kim Kardashian to tweet about it. So that lets you know that her voice was bigger than the news. Her voice was as big, if not bigger, than the mayor announcing, hey guys, the 405 is going to be shut down. Wooty wooty woo. No, the city paid Kim Kardashian to tweet it out. So welcome, to the new age of social media and having social currency. I know some rappers, and again, I won't say their names because I respect them and I wouldn't want this to be taken out of context, but I know two rappers from the early 2000s that were very, very popular back then, right? Uh, because they haven't had hit records in 10, 15 years, right? But because of their charisma, because of their social currency and their social media antics, they go viral almost every week. Their price points are protected, meaning that, they can still get club dates, they can still get walkthrough money, they still have people pay them to post stuff because of their charisma and their social currency. The new generation some of them didn't even know that they were rappers. And that's where their notoriety first started. But they accumulated that social currency, and with that, they're still relevant. They're still relevant. Haven't had hit records in over a decade. You know what I mean? So that is the power of social media, having social currency. And celebrity is, the concept of celebrity is depending on how you look at it.
I
So
agree.
yeah.
I agree. I agree. And guys, excuse us for I saw a little bit of lag, so hopefully it doesn't impact the video too much. But yeah, I completely agree. The term celebrity is definitely shifted, right? Like
Mhm.
just to me, or not even just to me. I think when I first got like 70,000 followers on TikTok, people were started like, "Oh my goodness, you're famous." And I was like, I haven't really done anything to be considered famous. So to
Right.
me, I was looking at to be famous or to be a celebrity, you're up there. You're up
Right.
there, and let's say it's not even just 1 million. It's like, let's say, like, to me, someone who's a celebrity, I would say, okay, we look at The Rock, we look at, you know,
Hmm. Right.
someone who has that, like Messi, Ronaldo, right?
Yes.
LeBron, right? Like even LeBron,
Yes.
I think he said a statement like, a lot of you influencers or a lot of you on social media haven't accomplished anything, but because of your followers, you feel like you've accomplished something. And when I saw that, I was like, yo,
Yes.
this is so true because
I have to agree. Yeah.
yeah, you'll see someone with like a few thousand followers and they think they're on top of the world
Yeah.
when they don't have any real connections, they don't have any
Yeah.
real businesses, they don't
Yeah.
have any real, they haven't really done something, let's say, tangible. But because they have
Yep.
the followers on social media, their
Yep.
ego is like up
That's
here,
a
you
fact.
know?
That's a fact.
So it's and what you said about Kim Kardashian, it's so true because nowadays, even with the media, like people don't trust the media that much anymore. People trust
Right.
influencers, people trust personal brands. They trust, let's say
Yep.
journalists now have more trust if they're on social media if compared to
Mhm.
if they're on CNN or if they're on Fox, simply because they trust that person. They don't trust
Yep.
a company. They don't trust CNN. They don't trust Fox. They trust this person who's telling them exactly what's happening in Mexico, in, you know,
Hmm.
India, in Canada, right? They trust that person because
Yeah.
I relate to this person, or I trust this person is telling me the truth. I trust them to do research compared to this company. They're a big company, they're a big corporation. I don't know if they're telling me the truth. So it's
And let
things.
me, and
Go ahead.
to add to that real quick, you know, even, you know, in my sector of Hollywood and movie and production, right? I just had the movie come out, A Little Piece of Heaven, that I co-starred in on All Black. But even when it comes to movie production and it comes to casting, you know, we're in the day and age now to where, you know, especially as it pertains to the independent movies, this is the importance and the influence of social currency. They are willing to get influencers with followers over actors that may be more qualified for the job. So you may have an actor that has done theater, classically trained, and has the chops and, you know, just powerful, but they may only have 2,000 followers. But then you may have a social media influencer or personality with 1 million followers that's up for the same job. They're going to find more value, you know, more times than not in that influencer, even if he has a fraction of the talent. You know why? Because he's bringing social currency. He's bringing eyeballs. He's bringing attention. So attention kind of in popularity supersedes talent. I hate to say it, but it's the truth as it pertains to this arena. You know, of course, this doesn't apply on, you know, in sports, you know what I mean? Or in other, you know, different sectors. But in this arena, you know, now if you have popularity and talent, oh, you're gonna win. You're gonna win and you're gonna sustain. That's where the talent comes in. See, talent sustains. You know what I mean? That's the difference. The popularity is only going to attain, but the talent is going to sustain you. So you know, that's why I say when what you're doing is not contrived and you're being honest and you're being authentic, even if your talent is being authentically you, it's going to resonate. You know what I mean? So that is what will sustain you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to add to that.
Nah, it's true, especially, like think about this, right? Celebrities and even regular people now who build the influence, who take the time to cultivate the right type of audience, they can expand into different careers, into new ventures, into new business opportunities, into philanthropy, right? Like Alex Hormozy, who recently said, "Yo, I need to take my brand seriously." Now he's crazy in the marketing world, right? Like he knows how to turn a dollar into like 30 something, right? Because he's done a lot of work in that side. But he was like, man, like I really need a brand because what he realizes that brand drops the cost to, let's say, get a new customer. So now he's using that brand, he's using his audience to buy businesses or to buy into businesses or to own
Right,
a percentage because people trust him. They trust who he
right.
is. They trust that he knows what he's talking about. And
Yes.
because of that, they're bringing their businesses to him. And obviously, he still has his team that does their research, that look at the business, etc. But think
Right.
about an opportunity like that because of the type of brand that he's built. And even people that want to just work for him because they're like, man, yo, I want to do sales for you. I want to do this for you. I want to, you, you completely shift your surrounding, shift your life, you shift everything when you take the time to properly build your name, your brand. And this isn't something that comes in 90 days. This is something that takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. Think about this. The Rock has been building The Rock for like 20 something years. But because he's been doing that,
Yeah.
every
Longer
bit
than that. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, every
Mhm.
business he launches is almost instant success. He launches his
Yep.
alcohol brand, his
Yep.
energy drink. So imagine you starting in like we're not just here to, let's say, help you make a quick dollar. We're here to
Mhm.
help you build the right foundations and we're helping you
Mhm.
make money as well, right? Like it's not just,
Yep.
oh, do this and you'll make a quick buck. No, we want to give you the fundamentals and the
Yep.
foundation that's going to allow you to really take advantage of this social media age. And social media is still brand new relatively to a lot of things. Social media, I'm 22 and I still remember when Instagram and Snapchat, I was in middle school when they first came out. So
Wow.
imagine like it's still new. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like there's already no, a lot of these people that are profiting, they're still just getting on these platforms. And I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure there's probably going to be another new platform that comes out that just maybe it wipes out all these other platforms. Think about this. When Elon purchased Twitter, right, and switched the name and made it so that you can purchase the blue check, Instagram
Mhm.
said, "Huh, let's see if we can do the same thing." And in
Right.
6 hours, they made some like 200 or 400 million, yeah, million in a couple of hours because they made it so that people and businesses have to now purchase the blue check. Now, the way I look at it, you've always had to get the blue check, right? You just had to
Yeah.
find some other way, right? Like you had to go through an agency or you had to find somebody who knew somebody at Instagram, or it used to be like a lot of different little like,
Yeah.
things you had to do just to get that blue check. But now they said, you know what? Let's follow what Twitter has done or X
Yeah.
and just make it available for purchase. But they knew what they were doing. Think about the amount
Mhm.
of money they just collected in a
Yep.
few hours. But
Yep.
guess Instagram spent years building Instagram. They spent years before they really monetized in that way. So
Mhm.
that's kind of a point that I wanted to bring. And I know we're wrapping this up soon, but I think
Yeah.
you were gonna say something about the I saw you light up when I brought up the purchasing of the blue check, and then you lit up again when I brought up what was it? What was it? It was something along the lines of just The Rock and instant success.
Oh, yeah, I always light up when The Rock come up, because The Rock is, I love The Rock, man. He's someone who, I admire, who I to some degrees pattern myself after, because it's not a lot of big guys that are in the space. So, but yeah, in terms of the tech, I lit up because I was kind of thinking and laughing to myself. I was forced to get the blue check, and kind of speaking to what we were saying with social currency. My social currency was growing to the point to where, when you have people that are posing as you,
Mm,
I had so many fake accounts and so many people, stealing my content and my pictures, but not trying to monetize it. They saw value in trying to be me. And so that was that's the measure of social currency, to where it's like, man, I got 15, 20 pages of different variations of Bitcoin and people trying to be me and people reaching out to people acting like they're me. I was like, oh wow, yeah, let me go ahead and get this check. Because initially, again, I'm from the old school, so I was like, check. I don't need that. People know who I am. Like I've been around 30
right.
years. If they don't know, then they'll never know. I was on that. But once I got the check, I did see, there is a significance to having it, because you're verified. It's you. It's really you. It's really who you say you are. People know they're not talking to a bot. They're not talking to a scammer. And it helps your business, because everything has been marked legit. So yeah, that's why I lit up when you said that.
Yeah, and that's really what I want people to look at because whatever your situation is right now, right, it can change in 3 years, right? Like it can change in a year, even if you're willing to put in the work. And
Hmm.
there was a saying, it was like you got to be able to work without looking at the clock, right?
Hmm.
Because the more
Yep.
you do that, the more you can work without looking at the clock, the quicker, right?
Hmm.
Quick can be relative, right? The quicker you'll be able
Hmm.
to, let's say, spend without looking at your wallet or looking at how much you got in the bank, right? When I heard that,
Exactly.
I was like, yo, that's so true because very few people, especially now, everyone's got a shorter attention span. So very few people are able to just sacrifice for 3 months, sacrifice for 6 months, sacrifice for a year without, without even seeing results, right? Hormozy said, if I
Hmm.
told you in 5 years, I'll give you a contract, you'll be a millionaire in 5 years, but between those 5 years, you're not going to make a single dollar. Are you going to sign that contract? So everybody said, of
Yeah.
course I'll sign it. But he's like, but when it comes down to it, most people aren't really willing to not make a dollar for 5 years, even if they would become a millionaire after those 5 years, right?
I can tell you from experience, I built several successful businesses, right? I touched my first $1 million by the time I was like maybe 20, 21 years old. Um, the thing about growing wealth and building any business, you have to have a passion for it. One thing I do know, when you just put in the work, right? You just work, the money will creep up on you. You'll literally be working and you'll be doing it and just doing what you got to do and paying attention to the growth because you love it and you enjoy what you're doing. Like you say, you're not looking at the clock, and you will look up and be like, oh, damn, I amassed this. This is what I made and this is what they want to pay me. Wow. And that will just make you go harder. Anytime that I've done a business, so I built successful businesses. Those were the businesses that, as you said, I didn't make money at first, right? It was time, it was sweat equity, it was me learning, it was me really putting in the work. The businesses that I got in to try to make a quick buck were all the businesses I lost in because I didn't take the time to try to understand it. I was just trying to flip some money or get some quick money, but I didn't take the necessary steps to really master it, to make the necessary changes to grow it. So you definitely have to, be willing to put the time in. It's just like anything else, a relationship. A relationship takes time. You don't meet someone and then become best friends with them. You don't meet someone and then just marry. Well, some people do. Some people have met people and married them the next day, but traditionally, you know what I mean? It takes time to cultivate, relationships, to cultivate meaningful things, being a career, being a brand. Again, we talking about sustainability, and don't get me wrong, some people want the quick buck. Okay, I'm a cash out. They play, they casino players, roll it. I got my money, I'm leaving and I'm good. If that's your choice, that's your prerogative. But for those that are playing a long game, that want to sustain and want to continue to grow their business, grow their passive income, and build brands, this is going to be a marathon. Today is Nipsey Hussle's birthday. Happy birthday to the late, great Nipsey Hussle. The marathon continues, as he used to say. So you have to look at this thing as a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly, exactly. Especially if you genuinely want to change your current situation. Like, it's hard, right? We're not going to say it's easy, right? Like, you
Right.
are looking at your situation right now and you're like, yo, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. That's
Yeah.
good. But now you have to be willing to put in the work that it takes for the
Mhm.
period of time that it takes so that time can then catch up to the work that you
Mhm.
are putting in, right? Because skills and the work that you are putting in, you're not gonna see the results. But then all of a sudden, oh, it's been 6 months, and now I have this skill, I have this skill, I have this skill. Huh?
Mhm.
It's been another 6 months. Now, oh, we're making, oh, okay, okay. And
Yeah.
then you put another six, like you really need to how do I best say this? You put in the time, you build the necessary skills, right? Like even me, when I first started creating content, I was stuttering. I was just, man, like I had to
Yeah.
stop the video so many times because I was like, yo, how can I record this the right way?
Yeah.
Now, if I want to record for 2, 3 hours straight and say I'm
Mhm.
going to pump out 20, 30, 40 pieces of content, I can do that. Obviously I'll take some water bottles and, and have a
Mhm.
water break, but I can do that now, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think the best way to kind of wrap this up is it takes time to build something
Yep.
amazing. Of course, you can make quick money here and there and change your situation for a little bit. But if you want to let's say, get rich for sure or change your
Yeah.
situation for sure, it's gonna take some
Mhm.
time. So how
So
you?
let me leave with this. You know, one thing that I know, as everybody knows, my saying is you live life long enough, it'll teach you how to live. This is why in Legacy Builders, we also have the mindset courses, because in order for you to become successful, in order for you to become a millionaire, as most people want, you have to make the necessary changes to first become that person, you know, and then you have to become another person and take in new information to retain that money. You know what I mean? So it is a constant thing of changing and evolving. So don't worry about the time. The time is going to pass anyway. That time is going to pass anyway. So you might as well use that time, as Duno said, you know, developing skills, surrounding yourself with people and like-minded people that are going to support you, people that are going to show you the game, not run the game on you, but teach you the game and help you get to your goals. So, you know, and a lot of people, you know, they're so fearful. They're paralyzed with fear. And as I always say, listen, you have to be able to strike out on faith. You cannot, you know, be fearful and have faith at the same time. You got to pick a side and slide. So you might as well strike out on faith. You know, that time is going to pass anyway, and you don't want to have any regrets. You don't want to let 5 years pass and then look back and be like, dang, I woulda, shoulda, coulda. You know, you've already lost that time. And then you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. What do you lose? Time. You don't even lose time, because with that time that you spent, you still gain knowledge, you know. So, and you know, you might have to pivot. You're never too old to reinvent yourself. So that's what I would tell people that may be a little apprehensive and, you know, and they're comfortable, but you know, comfort is the enemy of progress. You know what I mean? The minute that you become complacent and you're not growing, then you're not living. You know, so be open to new information, be open to apply, you know, listen, be optimal in life. Life is a journey, life is an adventure. You know what I mean? It is what you want it to be. It's whatever you make it, whatever you script your life out to be, whatever you tell yourself, whatever you let come out of your mouth, whatever you think you can do or what you can't do. If you think you can do it, you probably will. If you think you can't, you probably won't. So whatever you want your life to be, it can be exactly that if you're willing to put in the work. So that's the important message I want to bring is legacy builders. We're not also going to give you the game on how to make money on social media, but we'll give you the game on how to live life and live life optimally, you know, because you can make some money, but if you don't know what to do with that money, or you just don't know how to live and you just don't know how to be happy, that's important too. You know, money, you know, don't get me wrong, having money is okay. You know, you can, you know, it doesn't give you happiness, but you know, you can, that's one less thing you have to stress off of. But we can also teach you how to live your life, you know, because you got to be healthy. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have good health, what does it matter, right? If you don't have peace of mind, what does it matter? You can't even enjoy it because you're so in turmoil and in, you know, torment and bondage mentally. So this is what we provide at Legacy Builders. We're university. We're not only going to teach you how to monetize your talents and build your business, but we're going to teach you how to live.
100%, 100%. This is what it's all about. You know, it's really just helping you guys get to where you want to get in
Yep.
as short a time as possible, right? Some of you might have big goals and it might take a little bit longer, but we're here to help you set those foundations so that you really get to where you want to get. So, of course, that's a wrap for this one. We're definitely going to have some resources down below in the description for you guys to check to really
And,
help you guys get started for free.
and I want to leave y'all with this message. It's better to shoot high and miss than aim low and hit. So I wanted to leave y'all with that. So I'm Big Court of the Holding Court Podcast and Legacy Builder University, here with my compadre and my business partner, Duno Clenor, man. Listen, Legacy Builder University, it's been a pleasure.